Are something like grill grates in the pursuit of that picture perfect steak actually giving us a better sear? Today, I've got 4 steaks and I'm gonna sear them 4 different ways to find out if much hyped products like the grill grates are actually worth it. If you've been to a steak cook-off association event and or been on Instagram, you'd be forgiven for thinking that the crisscross diamond sear marks are essential to an amazing steak. Yet, if you travel to some of the world's best steakhouses, gone are those signature diamond sear marks. They're not anywhere to be found. Instead, famous restaurants opt for a more uniform Maillard reaction. And I've been in enough competition barbecue circles to know that what wins the judges' hearts and minds in competition circles isn't actually what people, friends, family, or the real world prefers in their backyard and or restaurant experiences. And when you've got products like the grill grate, as a founding sponsor of the governing body of the SCA, I can't help but wonder if this signature grill pattern is given a little bit more attention than what it's actually worth. Well, only one way to find out, which is a good old-fashioned head-to-head. Speaking of head-to-head, today's video is not sponsored by Grill Grates, nor is it sponsored by anyone else that would have ulterior motives in terms of determining the outcome. So while I'm confident that if you were following along on something like a pellet grill, some of them cap out at 400 to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, that a product like Grill Grates might actually give you some visual cue that at least something is going on from a sear standpoint. This has never been my experience in terms of what tastes the absolute best. But the only way to really answer what tastes best is to do a whole bunch of things side by side. So that's what I've come up with today. So the 4 methods that I'm gonna go through is, of course, our grill grates versus stock stainless steel grates. Next, I'm gonna have a solid surface. So in the past, I've done things like a soapstone or a cast iron half moon and achieved very similar results with both of those. So I'll do a solid surface. And the last and 4th method will be the caveman sear, which is the traditional searing directly on the coals. So now that you know a little bit more about the 4 tests, let's get our grills fired up and I'll show you what we're gonna do to prep our steaks. Okay, I'm gonna set this big green egg up for our caveman sear as well as our soapstone. So just gonna remove the expander. Shake out my kick ash basket. Move the kick ash can. Drop that back in. Charcoal basket. Some fresh Fogo. I'll install both baskets to about an even level so that I'm using a consistent amount of charcoal in each so there's no difference. And since I get asked all the time how to open a fresh bag, all you do is pull the first loop out if it's on the back left-hand side of the bag, and then give that a pull and the string will come out with one pull. So this looks good to go. Grab our Grill Blazer grill gun, fire that up. Drop our expander and soapstone in. That's gonna be our solid surface. Big Green Egg makes a cast iron half moon. Kamado Joe makes a cast iron half moon. I don't own either of those. I have the soapstones. That's what I'm gonna use for today. And I always like to set any of those products up the same way, where it's on the lower level. It's gonna act as our heat deflector. I've got the top level of our expander rack. So I'm gonna cook all 4 steaks on this Big Green Egg so that everything cooks evenly. And when it's time to sear, I'll just pull this off and be able to do our soapstone sear as well as our caveman sear directly in the coals. Let me show you how we're gonna set up for our other 2 sears. Very similar, except I just had the stock cooking grate and my second extra large egg. Pull that out. Same kick ash basket. Charcoal, torch. So I use one side of the stock cooking grate and then our grill grates. By the way, this is the Kamado kit that I bought, which comes with the radius so that it follows the curve of the grill. You can place it right in the front like so. So grill grates, stock, and I'll let these both come up to the exact same temperature, even though we're gonna cook over there, so there's no advantage with one getting more heat soaked. Just in the time that I lit the other grill, the temperature is reading 400 degrees, but there's almost no heat still in the dome. So I'm gonna ignore that for now. It's likely what we have is just some flame action coming up and hitting the thermometer, letting us know that it's nice and warm. But I'm gonna wait until it's about 5 seconds or so that I would hold my hands on the dome, lets me know we're fully heat soaked, and then I'll adjust our regulator cap down to about 1 finger on the top, and same for the bottom draft door. Let that continue to heat up, make that adjustment. Let's go get the steaks out. Okay, I've got both big green eggs fired up and heading towards 270 degrees Fahrenheit, which is going to be my cooking temperature for the reverse sear. Why reverse sear versus sear and then cook? Well, in something like a ceramic Kamados, these are very energy efficient. They can retain heat for a long time, and it would take a long time to go from searing temperatures back down to low and slow cooking, versus it's much easier to go the other way, low and slow, up into nuclear hot and fast temperatures. That's why I choose the reverse sear method. I've done a head-by-head though, as you get a sense, I love the data and comparison, and there's not really an appreciable taste difference between one and the other. It just happens to work with the tools that I'm using. So I mentioned I cut these 4 amazing ribeyes out of a larger rib roast. All of the other 2.5 of those are going to be for a carne asada recipe that I'll be sharing, as well as for my niece's wedding. So we've got a lot of steak, but when these are on sale, cutting your own steaks can be a great way to save a couple bucks. And so I'm going to get ready to add the rest of our seasoning. I used in the dry brine something like Diamond Crystal Kosher salt. Not a sponsor, it's just about 30% less salt by weight. So we're not going to over salt our steaks, but we're going to get the benefit of that tenderizing and adding flavor to our steaks, which is what the overnight dry brine does. So if you can afford that extra step in preparation, it makes a big difference. But because it's not crazy salty, I'm going to be able to add a little bit more along with some garlic and pepper. Let's get our steaks ready, and by the time they're seasoned up, we should be ready to throw them on the grill. I'm just going to go grab a binder. Okay, I've cut out some butcher twine so we can give a little structure to these ribeyes. That's one disadvantage when we go for the non-tomahawk variety, is that we lose a little bit of structure. Just to make sure that everything stays together, I'll truss those up, and then we can get to work on adding our binder. Okay, we got those truss to try and hold them together a little bit better than falling apart. So let's add a little bit of truff hot sauce. I'm just looking for really the truffle oil in here. If you can find a less expensive option, every now and then this shows up in Costco, makes it a little bit more palatable, but this is giving me a little bit of umami flavor in a binder. And when we do the overnight dry brine, we start to lose, or develop, I guess I should say, a bit of a pellicle, which prevents our dry rub from adhering as well. So that's why we'll add a binder, more salt, crack some fresh black pepper, and garlic powder. Flip and repeat. Insert a meter probe. I'll do number 1 here as our caveman sear. Number 2, same grill, will be the soapstone solid surface sear. Number 3 here, I'll do the stock grill grates. And number 4, our grill grates. Let's get those on. I'll number each in the meter app so I can keep track, but let's get them on our green egg. That's number 2. Number 1, number 3, and number 4. Okay, I've been spot checking different spots on our ribeyes with my Chef's Temp X10 to make sure everything is coming off exactly at a medium rare temperature. Then, as you can see behind me, they are now all sitting for about a 10-minute rest, which is perfect. So that gives me time to open the bottom draft door and the top vent all the way and let the temperatures soar. Since it's just me managing the fire, I'm gonna do 2 steaks at a time. So I'll meet you over here. We're gonna do our grill grate sear with our stock grate, and then we'll move the camera over to my second extra large big green egg, and we'll do the soapstone versus the caveman sear. So using an infrared camera, I wasn't able to spot any difference between our grill grates on the front versus the stock grates on the back. But what technology can't see, maybe we'll see with our eyes. So let's start our sear. So that's test number 1. So looking like a very good sear on both, but I can definitely appreciate the grill grates when they say they block the flare-ups. I wasn't having to deal with near as much flare-up activity on the grill grates versus the stock grates. Now, let's sear our next two. Soapstone. Caveman. That's good. Yeah, I hope you're hungry.
I am. They look good.
So I haven't told Sarah anything else other than we've got 4 steaks.
Yeah.
And what we're looking for today is all about the sear.
Okay.
So the eye does give away a couple things, but we're not gonna judge prettiness scores. That's what judges like to do. We're gonna go for taste scores.
Sounds good.
Should we slice them up?
Yeah.
Let's do it. So I'll leave the meters in each order, but this is probe 1, probe 2, probe 3, and probe 4, so we know which is which. Should we start with number 1?
Sure.
How's that look?
Looks delicious. Perfect.
Set aside for number 1. All right, so unlike normal, I gave us somewhat bite-sized pieces.
Yeah, I see that. Much better. You're learning.
Yeah, normally they're James size, so
Yeah.
that when I have Sarah on, I have to remember a little bit smaller.
Yes.
Okay, so in order, why don't we start with number 1?
Okay, sounds good.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, it looks good.
And no baseline for comparison. That's a good steak.
That's so good.
That's really good. I don't want to jump right into it yet until we know what we're comparing, but already, really nice sear. Or should I say,
It's perfect.
seriously good?
Seriously good, yes.
Okay.
It really is good.
Let's do the next one.
You set the bar high with the first
Yeah,
one.
that was a great start. Cheers again.
All right.
Similar.
It's very similar.
A little
Good.
different. Still good. Okay.
Yeah, it's yummy. Not, it's yeah, a little different than the first one, but it's
Absolutely
good.
different. Yeah.
Okay.
You probably want that one since I like the fattier piece.
This one?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
3.
Yep.
Okay. Difference here. Not sure a good difference. Difference.
It's still a yummy steak, though. But yes.
To be clear, with all of these, we are splitting hairs.
So good.
So we are dividing the 1% into different columns.
Yes.
Definitely very close.
Yeah, I know.
But we'll come back to this one in a
Come
second.
back. Yeah, for sure.
And number 4.
Number 4. Try. Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
There's more difference in these 4 than I thought there was going to be.
Right?
Okay, interesting.
I don't know how you cooked them, but they are, yeah, they're different.
Let me get some napkins.
Okay.
All right.
Now I want more steak.
Yeah, me too. Those are way too small.
Hungry.
Yeah, exactly. Well, just like a moose bouche, it got us all excited for more steak.
All right.
So, did you have a favorite?
Yes.
Okay, and if you didn't, I was gonna say, did you have a least favorite? Because sometimes it's easier to start with either extreme.
Okay. I had a clear favorite.
Okay, which was your favorite?
The first one, which is, yeah.
First one. Okay,
Yeah.
number 1?
Yes.
And how about least favorite? By the way, I'm gonna agree with you.
Oh, yeah?
Number 1.
I know. I always wonder if I'm messing your taste tests up, if you agree or not.
That's okay. I want your opinion.
Least favorite would be between these.
Yes. Now, for different reasons.
Yes.
So that's like this one struck me with a couple things.
Yes.
So what were your thoughts on this one?
Okay. This one didn't have enough
Right.
sear.
Yes.
That was a bit. This one had more. It was good, but a little too much at times.
Flare
it
up.
wasn't as even.
Burnt a
Yeah,
little bit.
it was not as even. This one, yeah, exactly. I can't. Yeah.
I could not be more aligned.
Oh,
so
there you
let's
go.
go through in order so you actually know what is what.
Okay.
So I'm with you, number 4.
Yeah.
With the least amount of flavor.
Yeah.
But the most picturesque. If we had an Instagram
yeah.
contest,
Yes.
we've got those beautiful sear lines. This is
does look
the
nice.
Grill Grate accessory.
Okay.
Which on the infrared camera didn't do anything in terms of the heat difference between the two, but one of the claimed benefits is it reduces flare-ups, and that's what we have on steak number 2
okay.
with our stock grill grates.
Yeah.
Now you can move that to a different height to reduce the amount of flare-ups, but I was managing flare-ups much more frequently on the stock grate than I was the grill grates.
I can tell a little bit on that.
Just a little bit of that flare up and the fat drippings wants to give a burnt taste. You can quickly go from a crust to burnt. And if I had gone heavier with black pepper or any other seasoning, it would be scorched earth. So if all you have is the stock grill grate, know that it's very close. But I would move to a higher position versus what I was doing today to keep everything dead equal. So on to our top 2.
Yes.
So one of them was on a hot surface. So whether you're using cast iron or soapstone, today I did the soapstone.
Okay.
That's what I have. And the other one, I threw it directly into the hot charcoal.
Okay. And so which one did I pick?
Which one do you think you picked?
I don't know now, because that was my favorite, but now I'm...
Which one tastes like it was thrown into a fire and cooked in hot coals?
Is that supposed to be a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it shocks most people, so I want to find out if you're shocked. Which one?
I would have thought that this one was the one on the coals.
Right.
No,
Why?
but it's not.
No. Why? Did it have a little...
The sear, like the sear was just a little, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
A little off?
Yeah, a little bit.
I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I know.
Because this is the one that
But I also don't want to insult your steak when it's delicious. But no, the sear was not as good on this one. Like there were just spots that were a little more charred.
Right. So our favorite steak.
Yes.
Caveman.
Caveman, of course.
Threw directly into the fire.
So why, James? Maybe we don't need to have so many grill grates.
Well, it's amazing what it can do. And there was actually a time we were at a New Year's Eve party, Ben and Tanya's cottage, many years ago.
Yeah.
And we had beautiful steaks like these, and not enough charcoal. And so we got the steaks cooked, and there was hardly any charcoal left. It's middle of winter. We shoveled out the grills. There was nothing else we could do. I couldn't get it hot enough for a sear, but there was a little bit of a cold bed left. And the caveman sear saved the day and came in with an amazing sear. So long as the coals are white hot, not just coming up to temperature, we still see orange and red. You want to see white ashed over coals. The coals don't stick. I didn't have to brush anything off.
Yeah.
And you get an amazing Maillard reaction.
There you go.
Great flavor. And someone, self-admittedly, who doesn't like smoke and wood.
They were great.
Picked.
Keep it simple. It worked.
Caveman sear.
There you go.
All right. Well, I hope you learned something today. This was a lot of fun. We're going to go eat some steak.
Yes.
Until next time, don't be afraid to fire it up.